Hi, my name is Diana Letfi, and I am the founder and organizer of the Healing Science Policy Institute. Um, it's a new and emerging DC-based think tank that derived out of the movement of physicians and scientists and holistic practitioners, as well as holistic providers and people that coalesce together to rebut the 77 Nobel laureates and the 20,000 physician attack letter that came against Kennedy being nominated as Secretary of HHS. We are nonpartisan, meaning we don't necessarily affiliate with any single party, but we do stand strong on definite policy issues. And I think part of the critical key aspect of what is going on right now in culture and in society, and perhaps in your communities and perhaps in everyday conversation, is there is this sort of tension and distrust around anyone with a PhD, anyone with an MD, anyone with a title that has a doctoral degree. And it pertains to something that goes much, much deeper than food dyes, additives, what's inside of your food, pharmaceutical products, and anything of that like. I think it actually goes back into the core nature of scientific debate, and particularly being able to investigate and analyze from putting the words of Mr. Kennedy himself, gold standard science, but mostly around the unlabeling of something called the science is settled, and catchphrases that basically says that we can't argue on science. We know that is not true. We know that scientists argue with each other all the time over every topic. And that's actually how the scientific revolution, as well as scientific progress, advances. It advances from people being able to dissent and disagree with their colleague around what they know to be true. And so the whole point and the whole purpose of this policy institute is actually to inspire more of those conversations, as well as to get people actually debating over subjects in order to actually find a much more comprehensive account of what is true, and what is real, and what is the substance of things, as simple and as complicated as human bodies and human lives. I think that when scientists are not able to have those conversations, when the mainstream media or mainstream narrative has a culture pull around science and around the understanding that there cannot be a scientific debate around certain sorts of topics, people die. There are lives that are lost. There are human errors that are not just committed, but it almost seems like there is a mass atrocity around those topic areas, and not repeating the same sort of mistakes, as well as the same sort of tragedies as the pandemic, means that we all have to kind of come together and really discuss the very core and the very contentions around what is not being said in the atmosphere. And that's, the science is not settled. Science is never settled. Science is ever changing. Science is a tool for understanding the world. It is not God. It is not the world itself. It is not truth. Medicine is the application of science as it currently forms. Medicine itself is also not necessarily settled. It might be the best possible tool that we have in terms of humanity in order to help human bodies, but that itself has its own limits. It cannot demand trust, and it cannot certainly demand your trust. And I think by having this sort of understanding, I hope to inspire these conversations on both a community level as well as on a restorative level, where we can actually have more trust.